So I almost died from my first BBL in Turkey, and like I can be quite impulsive, so I definitely rushed into it without thinking of the complications that the surgery may have had. I'm all about doing what makes you feel good, but I kind of wish I knew what I knew now before I got my BBLs. So maybe me sharing what happened might make some young person think twice about getting it done or research more before they make these like life-changing decisions. I do go into more detail about everything that happened on my pod, but I wanted to share it here too. Maybe it'll reach someone who's contemplating getting plastic surgery. I don't know. So I'm glammed up from a shoot that I just did. I like still even have the jewelry on. I forgot to give it back to my photographer. I usually don't glam up this much for you guys. But when I first got my BBL, like I didn't have much money and I cheapened out and went to Turkey. Found a place, we were talking on WhatsApp, like the reviews looked really good. Before and after photos looked incredible. In the consult, like you send photos of yourself and the doctor was like, yes, like you're a great candidate for a BBL. So yeah, I decided to go with them, paid my deposit, and off I went. It was like one of those package deal places where you get like flights, accommodation, everything included. It's a massive flight. It's like 16 hours and I arrive at Turkey. I get picked up from one of their drivers and he takes me to the clinic to go have a consultation with the doctor. We get there and we're like waiting for half an hour and then they're like, oh no, you got to go to the hospital to see him. So we have to drive all the way to the hospital to see this doctor. And also like my driver, like no one really speaks any English, so I don't really know what's going on. So I get to the hospital and like you have to hand over your passport and like the remaining money, which like I knew was going to happen. So I did that and then we're trying to find the doctor and we just cannot find him anywhere. We're like walking around the hospital trying to find this guy and like I start to panic because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like no one's telling me what's going on. Like I don't think Google Translate was really a thing back then. So like, then he says we have to go back to the clinic. So we drive all the way back to the clinic and see this doctor. And they found the surgeon and like go in there and he, you know, immediately looks at my body and is like, we won't be able to give you the result you want. Like you do not have enough fat for a BBL. I 100% had enough fat for a BBL. Like I had been purposely gaining weight for the BBL. It's like he was trying to like lower my expectations because he was gonna like, he knew he was gonna cheap out and do a half-ass job. So like I felt crap, but I was like, I still had hope inside me. I was like, surely like maybe they'll get into the surgery and it'll just be amazing. Anyway, it's surgery day. I get marked up. I'm on the operating table. I go into surgery and it's like literally everyone's worst nightmare what happened to me on the operating table. I could feel everything. So when you get a BBL, they take the fat out of your stomach or like back, arms, and then they inject it into your butt. So they get this like long metal rod and they like poke it in your stomach and it like, they dig it in and it's like, it's sucking out the fat. And I could feel the fat getting sucked out of me. And I laugh about this now, but it was like a horrific experience. Like it felt like it just burning, like you could actually feel it getting like the fat getting sucked off the skin. All I remember is like, I remember I could hear like nurses and the doctors like talking and like I couldn't move my body. I was paralyzed, but I could just feel like tears running down my face because I was in so much pain. There's nothing I could do. I was just lying there like in my head screaming, but I could just like feel all the stuff that was happening. I guess they didn't give me enough anesthetic, like because I could feel everything and I also like remember some of it. Anyway, I woke up and like I was just, my body was just an absolute shock. Remember, I was just like uncontrollably shaking. I was in excruciating pain. I was vomiting blood. I was screaming. I was like still fading in and out of consciousness. Like I couldn't like really remember what was going on. When I woke up, I was lying on my back, and like if you know BBLs, like you're not supposed to sit down on your butt for the first 6 weeks, and I was like immediately out of, you know, the operating table, like lying on my butt. So I asked the nurses to like help roll me on my stomach so I could be off my butt because I couldn't like physically pull myself up, or like I was just like, I could barely like lift myself up at all. So I needed help with that, and they were like, no, it's gonna be fine. So I just had to like lie there knowing that it was probably going to affect my results. I couldn't get up to go to the toilet. Like I couldn't move for like a good day. I was just laying in bed, like sleeping, trying to sleep, trying to like just freaking stay alive. They immediately start trying to like kick me out, like while I'm still in this state. Like they just want like another free hospital bed. They like get me up to like start walking again, and I'm just like collapsing. Like I just have no strength. I cannot get up. I can't walk. I'm still like in and out of consciousness at this point. I was literally begging them for me to stay another night. I was like, please, like just let me stay another night. I don't think I can do this. Like this is like, I'm in so much pain. I hadn't even eaten because I couldn't like hold down any food, but they were like, no, it's time to go. Like you gotta pack up your stuff and go. And there were 2 nurses looking after me, and one of the nurse was getting me dressed to leave, and then the other one like left the room. And as soon as like she left the room, he immediately started just touching me inappropriately, like while he was getting me dressed. And he did the same like as I was going to leave, like in the elevator. He did it again. The craziest thing about that is like I don't even remember that happening until like, I don't know if it was like a month or like 2 months like after the surgery had happened. I was just standing in my kitchen, and I like just broke down crying because like I remembered everything. It's like my body was in such shock from the surgery that like it just blanked that out until I was like ready enough to like process it. I like take because you have to be in like a compression suit. Like I go to take that off because you need to get these like lymphatic massages to like drain all the water out, because you hold a lot of water when you have a BBL. And I literally took it off, and I just could not believe it, because like it literally looked the same like as my, like, yes, it had filled in my hip dips a bit, but I was like, there is not much difference. Like I went through all of that for like, I always forget this, but like when you have a BBL, you like have these drains that are like coming out of you, and then you'll like massage the like water that's inside you, or you'll hear it like squishing around in your body, and then like it'll ooze out these drains. Like it's so gross. And also they had just like fucking botched it completely. They had just taken random chunks of fat out of my back, and like it just looked a mess. I ended up getting a revision done in Australia like a year later with the doctor here, and like he fixed it, and you know, I was super happy with those results. He was telling me like that it was just absolutely crazy that they had me laying on my back, that they had just taken out random chunks of fat at some of those places like in Turkey, actually like steal his photos and like, you know, post them on their website. The fat from my first BBL also just didn't, like, literally within a few months it was gone. And he said because like when they take the fat out, they need to purify it, and if it's not done properly, like it's just gonna, like, the BBL's gonna go down, the fat's just gonna die. Even after my second BBL, I was like, I need to have another one. It's like when you start, like, you just want more and more, and like it's never enough, especially being in like an industry where like you rely so heavily on like your looks and, you know, your body. You know, like surgery, you know, can change people's lives and make them so much happier, but like I want to say that you're not going to be happier getting plastic surgery, but some people are. Anyway, if you are going to get any, like, please don't cheapen out like what I did and end up in some crazy situation. Bye guys.